everybody. It's Karen Lewis, and this is the Just Breathe vlog for the suburban newspapers. Here for the next 45 minutes to share some teachings with you, some ideas, and a meditation. And this week, the meditation is adapted from something that Tara Brach, who is a meditation teacher in the United States, it's in the style that she usually uses. So I hope that you enjoy it. And the theme for today is forgiveness. It's a big one. Forgiveness, I wanted to kind of start with a quote. So I'm going to read you the quote. Forgiveness, this is a quote by Gandhi. The weak can never forgive. Forgiveness is really an attribute of the strong. And for Gandhi and many others, they believe that forgiveness is really about freedom. It's about surrendering the right to hurt you for hurting me. You see that? Surrendering the right to hurt you for hurting me. So I don't mean to pretend that there's no offense that was done, that there might be no misdoing or to dismiss any wrongdoing. It's not, forgiveness is not about saying it's okay and I just forget it. Forgiveness is about healing yourself of something that truly did happen to you. It was something that happened to you that was bad and can't be tolerated. But when you forgive it, it's a way to heal that wound that you were left with. So I've read a bit about forgiveness, and one of the things that I really notice is that forgiveness is about switching the focus from blaming somebody else for hurting you to taking responsibility for understanding your hurt, for understanding yourself. So just to allow the experience to unfold and tell yourself that no one has the power to make you uneasy without your consent, and that you're not willing to grant that authority to somebody else. Not now, and quite frankly, not ever. So what does that really mean? It means that no one is allowed to make you feel bad about yourself. When you forgive, when you're hurt, somebody else's behaviors hurt you, someone else's actions hurt you. And you're saying that you're unwilling to allow those behaviors or those actions to stay with you and continue to be painful for you. But I know in my life, they do, right? Someone's actions against me that have been painful, they do stay with me. And only really in forgiving do you get to hand back the hurt to them and say, you know what, you did this to me. It wasn't okay. You gave me a lot of pain, but I don't want to carry this pain anymore. I can see my pain. I can be aware of my pain. I can manage my pain. Now you take back what you did and keep it. So in order to bypass the blame and bypass the desire, you have to really bypass the desire to understand the other person. Instead, you're trying to understand yourself. What is it about those actions that have left me with so much hurt? And then how can I heal myself from this pain? What can I do to move forward? What is it about this situation that hurt me? How can I make myself feel better? And there's the self-compassion that we've talked about so many times over the course of these weeks. And how do we grant ourselves the right to live in the present moment instead of all that time thinking about what happened in the past, that painful thing that happened to us before? So when we find it difficult to forgive, it's often because we're not living in the present. And instead, we're just, assigning so much time to the past. It takes a lot of energy to do that, a lot of energy and attention to be constantly lamenting like the good old days. But those days are gone, and we need to move forward and be happy today, right? And when you have a pain that you can't forgive, you're often drawn back. So there's another quote, and it's from Desmond Tutu, And it's the only way to stop the pain is to accept it. The only way to accept it is to name it. And by naming it, to feel it fully. So really to forgive and to forget and to move forward. And this is really the only way. It's not enough to just forgive. It's not enough to think that you can just forget. You also really have to move forward. But before you forgive or forget or move forward, you have to practice acceptance. And again, topic we've talked about. Sometimes you don't want to forgive because you feel that if you forgive, it means that you condone the actions. And again, I'm saying no, you don't have to condone someone's actions, but you need to accept that it occurred, right? It happened. And then to move towards forgiveness is the process of healing for yourself, rebuilding your own confidence and your own inner strength. But this is a process. And sometimes it's a very long process. And sometimes it feels really like an impossible process. So my suggestion, my wish for all of you is that in that process, in that long and sometimes painful and often seemingly impossible process, you are kind and you are patient and you are compassionate with yourself. You need to be compassionate to yourself because whatever the incident was, it was painful. And the ability to heal takes time and kindness and self-compassion. So I hope that's helped a little bit. If anyone, and I believe everyone, is always dealing with something that has happened that isn't painful in some way. So we're going to practice now. And as I said, this is a practice based on a Tara Brach meditation. And when I said before, the Desmond Tutu quote, the idea of accepting something, the idea of being aware, of naming it, of experiencing what it is that you're feeling in your body, what it is that you have named, that is the process that Tara Brach goes through in many of her meditations. So let's move on to the meditation. And here we go. So as per usual, if you would like to find yourself in a comfortable but alert position, I'm shifting myself here on my cushion. And you could be lying down or sitting up. You can sit in a chair or on the floor, whatever it is that's comfortable. Close your eyes. And if you're not comfortable with closing your eyes, you can just gently focus on a spot in front of you with your eyes cast down. Again, comfortable, but please to be alert. And begin to come into your own presence. Just feel your body sitting here. Feel your body breathing, inhaling and exhaling. And slowly let the sounds, the smells, and the sights, the rest of the environment you're in, just pass gently around you without distracting you. You are here, you are breathing, you are focusing on releasing the tension in your body. Well, you could begin wherever you feel comfortable. It could be your feet, your toes, your hands, or the top of your head. And slowly scan your body for any areas of tension, any tightness. And as you notice them, letting them melt away, releasing. Breathing, noticing, and releasing. When you finish scanning your body, if you feel comfortable, you can briefly focus on the corners of your mouth. Just gently allow them to turn up into a soft smile. And notice how that may change some sensations, some of your feelings, some of your thoughts. And to remember that this is a practice of joy, and it's a gift that you give yourself today. On a begin, you might scan your life, scan your experiences, and give a moment to sense where there's some place that you get stuck, some kind of emotional difficulty. Perhaps it's a place that you turn on yourself, where you're less than kind, or you're judgmental. I'm talking about a place where you get reactive. It might be in a relationship. It might be a situation at work. It might be some kind of addictive or habitual behavior that riles you up. Often it's a reaction to another person in your life. Just something where you feel like you get stuck. What we might call where your limbic brain becomes reactive. You sort of get cut off from yourself. Take some time. You don't have to pick the most reactive situation, and certainly pick something that you're comfortable with for now. This is a meditation about healing. And when you identify the situation, go to a time when it was most predominant recently. Just try to remember it as if you were watching a movie and you're moving through it and maybe freezing the frames right at the spot where you get the most reactive. So you can kind of tune in to that space that you're in. Maybe visualize it. Maybe feel it. If there's another person involved, you might see their face, sense what they're saying, what's going on. When you're at the point where you feel most reactive, kind of freeze Freeze that frame and just try to recognize whatever is most predominant at that moment of reactivity. It could be an emotion that's really strong. It could be fear or anger, hurt, maybe confusion. Maybe just mentally name it and note it. Fear, anger, confusion. And after you name it, just intentionally allow it to be there. So in some ways, you're saying, yes, this is the reality of the moment. You're not fighting what's happening. You're not resisting what's happening. You're most probably not liking what's happening, but you're just letting it be. I am feeling fear, or I am feeling hurt. Maybe you can bring a kind of interest or curiosity to these feelings or sensations. You might ask, what most wants my attention right now? Just check into your body. Feel what you're feeling. Where is this living in my body? I encourage you to check your throat, your chest, your belly, your solar plexus. Yes, your heart. Where in your body are you experiencing this pain, this anger, this sadness, this confusion? I am sad. I am feeling it in my heart. You might also take a moment to ask yourself, what am I believing right now? What are the words? What are the thoughts? Am I believing that I'm failing? That someone else doesn't care about me? Am I believing that things will never change? They'll never get better? Am I believing that I am unlovable? See if you can feel if there's a core belief in there. It could be about love. It could be about self-worth. It could be about safety. It could be about feeling whole, feeling accomplished, belonging. And with whatever comes up, again, try to sense where that lives in your body. Keep coming back to your body. See if you can ask, where do I feel most vulnerable? Where is it in my body that this sadness or these feelings of insecurity or lack of self-worth, where does that reside? You might experiment now by just letting your body posture and your face express what you feel. If you haven't done this before, you might find that it's a very powerful way to investigate and get more in contact with the truth of what's going on inside of you. So you can let the expression on your face lift your posture, the gentle corners of your mouth turning up or down. Maybe your shoulders will go up, forward, back. Maybe your fists will clench, or your jaw will get tight. You're embodying the feeling. We embody our feelings. And just sense that embodiment, that worst part of it. And sense where your body is experiencing whatever you are most afraid of, most upset about. And I invite you to put your hand wherever your feelings are most strong, and to do it gently, with care, with interest, and with compassion. And you'll find that touch helps you to stay with, to breathe with the feeling. Allows you to not resist. You're opening to what's here. And you can ask yourself, is there something else more that wants attention? Something that's underneath these thoughts, these feelings, or sensations. And as you begin to touch the place where you feel vulnerable, you're beginning to come forward with nurturing. And you can ask yourself the question, does this part really want me to be with it? What do I need most? Do I need to feel loved? Do I need to feel forgiven? Do I need to feel accepted? That I belong? Do I need to feel safe? Do I need to trust in my own goodness? And as you ask the question, listen from the most wise, awake part of you. You can begin the nurturing by offering from your own tender heart what is most needed to the vulnerable part within you. You might offer the words, I'm sorry. I love you. I'm not leaving. You belong. Offering yourself that tender part within you the words, I'm sorry. I love you. I'm not leaving. You belong. I care about your suffering. Words that offer comfort, along with the tenderness of your own touch. And bring your own wise heart to the hurting part of your own heart. And if you find that difficult, if you find that you need something from someone, something bigger or beyond your sense of self, you can call in whatever source of love and loving most resonates and matters to you. Perhaps it's a grandmother or a friend, or spiritual leader, or a healer. Someone that you trust their wisdom and their heart. And you might imagine that their love is kind of pouring through your hands and into your own place of vulnerability, into your heart. Please let it in. Give yourself permission to really let in the love. What's that like? What's that light like washing through you? Tenderness, whatever it is, let it in. Let yourself just surrender into it so that you can feel that you belong to that loving on your own. You can take as long as you'd like. Just notice the quality of your awareness that's here. If it's shifted, whereas in the beginning, you might have felt like a stuck, small self, a reactive, small self. Hopefully you can sense an increase in your presence and in your compassion. This is the time when you can sense that you're no longer so identified with that small reactive self, and that rather you're resting in or belonging to a vast space of loving presence. That you might just rest some right now in that loving presence. And just listen to these words as you rest from the poet Rashani. There is a brokenness out of which comes the unbroken, a shatteredness out of which blooms the unshatterable. There is a sorrow beyond all grief, which leads to joy, and a fragility out of whose depths emerges strength. And you can take your time, but when you're ready, you can slowly feel yourself coming back into the room that you're in. allowing for an awareness of your breath, letting it roll in and out, and allowing yourself to enjoy your relaxed body and mind, reminding yourself that you are here now in peace. Namaste. Namaste. When you're ready, thank you. Hope you enjoyed that meditation and that you found in it some way to touch the tender, vulnerable spots, to experience them, to name them, to move towards forgiveness so that you can heal. And as per usual, I like to end with a poem, something to think about. It was a beautiful poem by Rashani, but here's another one by Rumi. And this poem is called Be Ground. It's a short one. Be ground, be crumbled, so wildflowers will come up where you are. You've been stony for too many years. Try something different. Surrender. Be ground, be crumbled, so wildflowers can come up where you are. You've been stony for too many years. Try something different. Surrender. Try to forgive and see the wonderful things that can happen for you when you do. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for joining me on the journey today. My name is Karen. You can reach me at Karen Lewis, LOUIS 0126 at gmail.com. Enjoy your day and take care.